If you're like me, you're still in disbelief that it's 2023 and you probably haven't even taken your Christmas tree down yet. But if you're a print-on-demand seller, Christmas is long gone and it's already time to start thinking about the next money-making holiday, and that's Valentine's Day. If you feel like you missed out on making tons of profit in the last quarter of the year, Valentine's designs are your way to make up for it. Valentine's designs sell like crazy during the beginning of the year, raking in a ton of profit, and if your design is good enough, it will continue to sell year after year. In this video, I'm going to share some Valentine's niches that are going to do super well this year, as well as how to create a best-selling design to go along with them, even if you're not a great artist. Before jumping into those best-selling designs, I want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor for today's video, Kittl. Kittl is one of the best tools that I've used to create t-shirt designs for print-on-demand products. It has everything you need to create really stunning graphics, super fast and super easy. I love that it's so simple, yet it helps you create some design features that seem really complicated and advanced. They have tons of templates created by artists that you can simply take and change a little bit to fit your specific print-on-demand needs. I'm going to show you exactly step by step how I take each of these trending Valentine's Day niches and turn them into a best-selling design using Kittl. Kittl is such an amazing tool. I definitely think you're going to want to check them out, so I will have them linked down in the description below if you'd like to check them out. The first Valentine's Day niche that is going to go crazy this year will come as no surprise to you if you've watched some of my other niche videos, and that is groovy, hippie-inspired Valentine's Day designs. Groovy designs have been selling like no other ever since last Halloween, and it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. So you definitely want to make sure you're taking advantage of this groovy aesthetic that people are really loving and create some groovy, hippie-inspired designs, and I'm going to show you how to do just that. While groovy doesn't necessarily have a specific phrase attached to it, you can really take any phrase that you like and put a little bit of a groovy twist on it. I really like the phrase "show more love." That kind of seems a little bit hippie-esque to me and has a little bit of Valentine's love twist, so that's the one I'm going to be designing for today. I am going to go ahead and take a look here at the t-shirt templates that Kittl has and just search the word groovy and see what that brings up for us. I'm seeing some really great options that we could use. There are tons of hippie and groovy inspired designs. I'm really gravitating towards something that's going to be a little more colorful and bright that really is going to pop off the page and doesn't seem like something that a lot of people are doing. So while a lot of people can use a groovy text, I want something that's a little more complicated, that looks a little more advanced and is just going to stand out. So I think this design right here is really going to work for our purposes. All right, so we have this design, and something that is really important to make sure that we do is we're going to need to change at least a little bit of this design. So most of these designs, you are going to need to change the words, the font, a little bit of the colors just to make it your own. You're not going to be able to use it exactly as it is, and you honestly wouldn't want to because it's already been done and somebody else is going to do it. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is change this background that they have right here. You see how there's a little bit of floral texture? We're going to want to take that off. So we are going to go to these layers, and I'm going to go to the texture, and then I'm going to unlock that and make it so it is not there. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this and change it. Then we are going to go ahead and change what this says. So right now it says "make love, not war." And we are going to change that to "show more love." What I absolutely adore about Kittl is that you didn't even have to bother with reformatting these. It just took the words and it already put them into the template that it already had. So already that is looking super great. But what we're going to do is change a little bit of these colors here just to make it our own. In just a couple minutes, we already have a really cool design that we can use. So now we're going to go ahead and download this. I am going to download and change this to pixels right here if it's not already. And then for print on demand, I like to, if I can, have the thing in 300 dpi just for the best quality image. And then for digital use, I'm going to go ahead and download that as a PNG, making sure that we are going to remove that background. So now we have our design downloaded. The next niche that I've already seen selling super well and is going to continue to sell is the funny phrase, sushi is my Valentine. Every single year, there are a ton of shirts that are more of an anti-Valentine's Day twist or singles Valentines, or just someone who loves something funny and wants to celebrate the holiday. And this year, the phrase blank is my Valentine has been selling like crazy. This phrase, sushi is my Valentine, is a great example of how you can really scale down a niche just by adding two niches together. So in this one, you have the Valentine's Day bigger niche, as well as the more low competition sushi niche, and you put them together, and that creates a winning design that can sell year after year. With an example like this, sushi is my Valentine, you can honestly replace that first word with any trending noun that you can think of. So you could do a sport, a type of food, a type of game, really any hobby that you know sells super well can be interchanged for the word sushi. But today I'm going to create a sushi inspired design. For this design, I'm thinking I want something a little more Japanese style and theme. So I'm actually going to look up the word Japan and see what templates we can come up with here on Kittl and find something that really works. Okay, so after scrolling a minute, I found this design that I think could really work well for our purposes. All right, so now for this one, this is going to be our sushi is my Valentine. And so right away, I am going to take off this texture that it has here. And then I like to just look at the layers and make sure there isn't any other texture, because sometimes there will be. Let's see. I'm also going to remove this dirt. It does look pretty cool for some types of designs, but for a printed shirt, it's not going to show up the way that we want it. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and change that design. So I want this first word to say sushi, and then I think I'm going to have this one say is my, and then this revenge I'm going to change into Valentine. And I love how I didn't even have to change any of the formatting right there. It just did that completely for me. And then this I'm going to get rid of, but I still like that little design there. It just gives it some balance. And now I am going to see if we can find a sushi element. I think I am going to take this out and I'm going to put this sushi in. You know what, actually I don't love that, so I'm gonna find a different sushi. So let's see what sushi. I'm gonna do this bento box actually. It has some sushi in it and some other elements, and I honestly think that those colors look pretty good with it here. And you could definitely play around with it and find something even better than this, but I'm already really liking how that's looking. One more element that I think I do want to incorporate is some kind of hearts, just to make it a little bit more Valentine's-y. So let's just put a few of those in there. And then I'm gonna definitely change the color and the size just to make it more with this theme. I'm gonna remove both of those middle ones. And then I'm actually going to put this heart right here in the middle, kind of where that star was before. And then I'm gonna change that color to the color that is in the sushi. And then, all right, I think that makes it look just a little bit more Valentine's-y. Now I'm gonna go ahead and download that. I'm gonna go ahead and change it to pixels, remove the background, and then put it at 300 DPI for the best quality for printed items. And then I'm going to download that as a PNG. The next niche that is going to sell super well this year is something that I started to see pop up a lot during Christmas, and that is the vintage card theme. Vintage Valentine's Day card inspired designs and just vintage designs in general are going to sell really well during Valentine's Day this year. I love that Kittl has a lot of different vintage inspired themes and options that you can create from. Again, with a theme like Vintage Valentine's Day, it doesn't really have a specific phrase attached to it, so we can honestly just say something like Happy Valentine's Day and put it in a style that is really going to resemble a vintage Valentine Day card with a lot of those retro elements in it. I think people are really loving some of that retro nostalgia, either from their childhood or something that just reminds them of simpler times. We see that vintage is selling like crazy in home decor and other sectors, so it's no surprise that vintage designs are selling like crazy on print on demand too. I'm gonna look up the word vintage or vintage Valentine and see what comes up. So after taking a look look, there are tons of vintage designs. You can see that they even have some really great vintage Christmas designs, but let's keep scrolling and see what else we find that has a little bit of a vintage twist and we can make into a Valentine's Day design. All right, after looking for a moment, this template seems like something that we are definitely going to be able to use to make a really stunning Valentine's Day shirt design. All right, for this next vintage Valentine, I think I am going to just do a classic Valentine phrase, something like "Be my Valentine" or "Happy Valentine's Day." Actually, I think that's what I'm going to do, "Happy Valentine's Day." So once again, I'm going to go ahead and remove that background that we see right there, the texture. So we are just going to delete that texture there. Already that's making it a lot better for print. And then I am going to change this to say "Happy Valentine Day." All right, so this one we are going to have to do a little bit of reconfiguring just to make it look correct here. And then I'm going to change this text to a different one that I think is just going to look a little bit more vintage. I really like that one. And then just play around with it, see what you think looks really good. I think that is already looking adorable. All right, so let's see if we can find any more vintage elements just to kind of change this up a bit. I think I am going to add some more of these little birds down here just to kind of change it up a little bit, make it a little different. All right, so that is looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and download that. And then once again, we'll just change it to pixels and then change this to 300 dpi, remove the background and download. And then we are going to have our design complete for this one. One of the biggest misconceptions about being a print on demand or merch seller is that you have to be a graphic designer or be able to make really great designs, but that is simply not true. A tool like Kittl makes designing take minutes and you come up with a product that looks super unique and very complicated and high end. So I definitely think this is a tool that all merch sellers, especially if you're just getting started, should think about investing in. Thankfully, Kittl actually has a couple options for you. They have a free plan with a lot of great tools. Today in this video, I use their expert plan, which just has some more features that you definitely could be able to utilize in your business. And what I love with a tool like this is if by making some better designs, you just sell 3 or 4 extra shirts every single month, a tool like Kittl has paid for itself by far, and it's made your life designing so much easier. So make sure you check them out in the description box below. But in the meantime, if you just want some more ideas of niches that are going to sell like crazy this year, I've put together this video for you guys. Check that out and get inspired to start creating some best-selling designs for your business. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.